Hi, everyone. Welcome to World Peace Hologram and my series of sessions, Make Peace Personal for Yourself in 2018. Just to remind you, we're doing a session a month for your particular pet world peace intention for an issue somewhere in the world and your own personal intention. And those same two intentions we're repatterning every month. So if you've already, and there's up to 50 of us now collecting to do this monthly repatterning. So if you've already submitted those two intentions, that's all you need to do in terms of issues and intentions to submit. Just take in the repatterning and notice the shifts occurring for yourself. If you haven't, please, use the form links in this video. I'll put them in the bottom of the video at the end, or over there at worldpeacehologram.com. So welcome to our monthly session. And like I said, we have almost 50 people participating. The notion here, for those of you new joining us this month, and I know there's a few of you that are new, is that uh, when we intend something for others in somewhere in the world, in a group, when there's 8 or more people, the field of energy exponentially expands, that entrained field of energy. And we have more of an opportunity to make a difference with our intentions, not only for that place in the world that we're intending to create some peace, but also for ourselves personally. So if you haven't, you might just try to think of your intention. Remember what you submitted. I'll be sending those to you in a month or two to remind when we wrap up this series and we can evaluate it. But it's fun to kind of keep track of these sessions and figure out, did we make a difference with these repatternings? Now, it's a really big stretch to really imagine that, our little microcosm, we're just a little fragmented little piece in the entire universe, but we're all part of that interconnected grid of humanity. And it does make a difference, and sometimes you just have to look for it. I must admit, in the last couple of months, I've been really wondering, because here in Toronto, Ontario, there's been such gun violence that I don't think I've seen in a long time, if ever, in Toronto. I know in other cities in the world, this is sort of regular fare and not so bad, but my goodness, I'd love to see that change. So that's one of my intentions, is that gun violence subsides in Toronto and it's replaced with, these young men, mostly who are engaging in this, find valuable work with meaning and purpose and find joy in their lives where killing doesn't have to happen. Now, that's just an example of one of the peace issues that we're working on. We've got a long list, and I'm just going to read in to the new ones that have arrived that we're adding to the list. And some of them kind of meld with the things that have already been submitted. But it's always good to hear the same thing with new words. So we'll get started in a second. Just come into your heart center if you're participating live or watching this afterwards as well. And just take a few deep breaths in and just relax, knowing you're being repatterned. And one of the principles of repatterning is that what we resonate with is what we tend to experience. And that frequency, that energy field we create for ourselves, it radiates out into the world and makes a difference to other people. So that's how we can create peace in the world. We have to really experience it in our own heart first before it can have a difference somewhere out there in the world. So I'm using, just to remind you, the resonance repatterning system. It's here's tool number 1. It's a map that shows us where to identify the patterns that need to clear. And I use this kinesiology tool called muscle checking, we call it, to check where to go in the process, determine the patterns that we need to check on, and then check the pattern for its frequency. We're either resonating with it on or resonating with it off, not resonating with it, and it's off, on or off. So you'll see me doing this all the way through. I say everything out loud for those of you new to this process, so there's no secrets. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm starting here and checking. We need to start with orientation, no. With problems, no. Intentions, no. With the repatterning, yes. And so for that, I have a number of catalogs of repatternings. There's over 100 of them now. We need the primary patterns and conscious patterns, chakra patterns, meridian and 5 elements, relationships repatterning. So we're going to go to that book. Principles of Relationship. It's a set of repatternings. If any of you ever wanted to do a personal session, there's a number of great repatternings in here to address your relationship issues. But let's see what we need in terms of ourselves and the world and how we can create peace. We need birth process, fire element, bonding, communication of needs, of feelings, self-acceptance, water, metal, earth, wood. No, but that's, oh, is that all there is? My index is incomplete, I think. We need entrainment resonance repatterning. Is that in this book? It might be that that's exactly what we need. We need entrainment, getting it off. We need argument repatterning. No. Given some of the things on the world stage, I wonder. Clearing communications. Muscle checking, we don't. So we need masculine, feminine repatterning. No. I guess it's giving you an idea of what's in this book. Past communications repatterning. All right, let's just go back to the bigger index here. We need something from relationships. We need to repattern some aspect of relationships using A, B, C, D, E, F, interdependence, entrainment, resonance repatterning. Okay, so we'll go there. Entrainment and resonance repatterning. Now, I always find entrainment a very powerful concept in terms of, how we relate to other people. If you're in sync with a group, your colleagues at work, your family, your friends, your relationship, it's two fields of energy are pulsing as one. And technically speaking, from a physics point of view, the amplitude of each field literally doubles with the entrained field of energy. So the more people in the group, the bigger the amplitude, so to speak. And of course, the bigger the shift. Now, here's a good example of that. When soldiers are marching in step, can you get that kind of picture of a block of soldiers or, carrying their rifles and marching together? That's an entrained field of energy. And it's so powerful that when they reach a bridge, they always break step when they're going over the bridge, because the power of the entrained field of marching soldiers can actually weaken the structure of a bridge, if not break it altogether. So that gives you an example of the principle of entrainment. And there's something else we need to explain before we start this repatterning. There isn't. If you're a practitioner, there's lots of great information on this repatterning about energy fields, but we'll just stick with the basics here. And we need to start with the question, who and what is involved in the loss of entrainment? So we're going to apply this to our world peace situation, and the issue is world peace. It is. And so we'll say global peace is disturbed. We'll replace it with that wording. And yeah, so we'll go with that. So here, these statements will proxy everybody's issue with world peace. And so you can repeat after me or just take this in, but now we'll say this on behalf of the group. Global peace is disturbed because of the violence of people not going with not enough food and hunger in children, the division that's occurring in my country, the poor relationships with other countries, the unbelievably high levels of violence against women and non-conforming genders in South Africa, and the declining sense for the truth and responsibility of those in power. And we are resonating on for that statement. those issues, world issues. We need to identify anyone else involved. It's ourselves. No. We need to look anything else from this list of who else might be involved. No. So it's basically ourselves and the world and our world issue. We need to now identify how the loss of entrainment and resonance manifests for us. So this is how it might impact us personally. 1, 2, first part, second part. So I feel energetically disconnected from blank. So that could be a person in your life. I feel energetically disconnected. So I'm going to put in brackets, name a person. But for our purpose of our repatterning, I feel energetically disconnected from peace, no, from my country, from my country, from my country. You know, and there's so many countries experiencing this where the principles of a people, of a society, are being changed by those who are in power, and they're trying to set a new tone, etc. You can just feel like you're a fish out of water and you just don't belong there anymore. But that's how we are feeling. I feel energetically disconnected from my country. If you're participating at home and you want to make this more personal to you, there might be a person in your life that you're feeling disconnected from. Feel free to write that out for yourself. There's something else needed from this list of how our non-entrainment is manifesting. Yes, 1 through 5, 6, 7. I'm resentful. Okay, so this goes to what somebody submitted. I am resentful that leaders are leading with or leading to obtain or leading by putting their own personal interests ahead of the country or the people. That's more in your details. That's the statement. So you could say this with me. I'm resentful that leaders are putting their own personal interests ahead of the country or the people. And we're on for that resentment. We need something else from this list. We don't. There's an earlier experience. Well, we're not going to identify that here. But in the next section, we're looking at identify the relationship non-coherence involved underlying the loss of positive entrainment and resonance. And this is to do with the quality of the relationship with someone else. So in this case, we're going to have it to be, our relationship with world peace or world leaders. Let's see what comes up. It's number 1, no. Number 2, yes. We are coherent in relationship to these issues that we've identified, violence with people going without, division occurring in the country, poor relationships, etc. So we are coherent in relation to that. But the other party involved wants us to resonate in and train with their own non-coherent way of behaving. You can see that in the proliferation of fake news and politicians outrightly lying to the public on TV and in the news media. And here's the explanation. This may result in conflict, disharmony, or power struggles because the other person wants you or us, the people, to be less than we are and will relate to you only from a lower energy state of non-coherence. Interesting. For example, someone who's addicted to alcohol wants you to drink also, in spite of your desire not to drink. So if you try to resonate and entrain with the other person's non-coherent pattern, this may lead you to lose your sense of self and to compromise your principles. Living in conflict with yourself may manifest as alcohol, drug, or food addiction, or even pain or illness. So I don't know about you, but sometimes the 6 o'clock news I just find nauseating. And for a while there, the last spring and the summer, I was just turning it off altogether, which is still not good because you really need to know what's happening in the world. But and nevertheless, it says here, the gift for us is to transform our non-coherent patterns so that we have the strength to stand for our values and principles and lovingly and firmly. We may need to resonate with setting limits on the other person's negative behavior, words, or actions. And some people do that by boycotting companies that participate in bad environmental policies or whatever. So question one is, what positive changes we need to make or suggest to the other involved that will give us the strength to live by our values and what's important for us? So there's two parts here. So this is the first part. And I'm just want to muscle checking. This is involving our own personal intentions. No, something that was submitted for peace intentions. No. So we'll just tune in. I'll just take a moment. We'll just tune in to what might answer this question for us as a group. And maybe if you did say, you'll be sending me your vibes. What positive change do you need to make or suggest to the other person involved that will give you the strength to live by your values and what's important to you? What immediately flies in my mind as I read that for the second time is to write to my political representative. So this is the action to take. Yes. So I write to my political representative where possible with my concerns for the current political situation, and ask for their support to make positive change. For example, one thing that really strikes me that it seems trivial, but I think makes a difference, is the lack of mutual respect for people in office. And to see people just going at each other with just personal vengeance, it's just such bad manners to begin with. And I'd love to just write a letter and say, look, when you're arguing about a particular thing at city council, I would appreciate that you respect the other councilors and their viewpoint, and present your own, which represents me, with a level of dignity and respect for other people. So and it might feel like you taking action like that will never make a difference, but it does make a difference. And the more people that do it, the bigger the difference will be. So this is our statement. So the action intention. The statement is, I write to my political representative where possible with my concerns for the current political situation and ask for their support to make a positive change. And we are off for doing anything like that. Okay. And then next is another quality of this. We need 1, we need 2, we need 3, we need 4. The first part, the second part. You could say with me, I am committed to my life enhancing choices. And we're off for that. Committed to my life enhancing choices. Off. Okay. Carrying on. We need anything else from another way of relating? No. We need to look at the masculine coherence needed for establishing more positive entrainment and resonance with the world peace situation. We do the masculine quality needed 1 through 5 to 10 to 15, 10, 11. I love serving and protecting my country. It's my country. It's a person, my leaders. No, it's my country. So you could say, I love serving and protecting my country. And we're off for that. I love serving and protecting my country. And we're off for that. And we need anything else from 1 through 19? We don't. We need a feminine quality. So that's a masculine quality, by the way. And we need to balance that out with a feminine quality. 1, it's like accept. It's I accept blank. So maybe it's for each of us, it's a person. So I accept world peace as it is. I accept the leaders of my country as they are. So let's say that I accept the leaders of my country as they are. And we're off for that. That's the feminine quality needed. We need something else from feminine qualities. We do not. I wanted to just qualify that last statement because, you know, if you have a terrible country leader, why would you want to accept that? Why would you not want to do something? The masculine qualities, I love serving and protecting my country. The feminine is I accept the leader of my country as they are. But when you have acceptance for a situation, then you know you can now move into a place of taking action that's appropriate. Um, you know, it's kind of like hard to put a square peg in a round hole type of thing. As soon as you figure out that this is a square peg and uh, is that and that there's this person can only behave in a certain way, then you find other ways to work around it or to work with it or to make positive change as soon as you accept the situation or the person or the leader for who they really are. It starts with acceptance. Okay, so now we need to know the intention necessary to reestablish positive attunement and resonance. Okay, for that, we are going to go to our world peace issues and our personal intentions. So, what happened? Where did they go? There they are. Oh, very nice. They're in the right spot. I copied and pasted them in the right spot. All right. So we have some world peace intentions. So these intentions are going to proxy all of the world peace intentions submitted to the program to date. And we'll say, so I'll just read these out on behalf of the group. We need, okay, wait, let's see. So we need to put these in a present tense. Not all of them are. So I'm going to put our first one is we address inadequate nutrition in children around the world. And we're off for that. We respect and honor the divine feminine and live by principles of love, respect, cooperation, and a balanced and peaceful society. Well, we're off for that. Our leaders, the leaders of our country, including my own, put their people's interests first before their own personal interests. Oh, well, we're off for that. We support the world in becoming considerate of each other's way of going about things and enjoy learning from each other. This and so much more, and we're off for that. And we support South African citizens to deal with their frustration and anger in nonviolent ways. And that's off. And I find peace within myself and radiate it with love on those in need around me. And we're off for that. Now I'm just going to pop out for a second. There seems to be a message coming through. Let's see if it's involving, I don't know, some technicality for this broadcast. I'll be right back. And we're back. Sorry about that. All right. So away we go. So we're off for all of our world peace intentions. Now we've got personal intentions. And again, Make your own personal additional intentions if you wish to, and anybody submitting something previously, they're all included. But these statements will proxy our session today for everybody. I find ways to give back to those in search of meaningful life and significance. And we're off for that. And I spend my time joyfully in empowering women and students, and we're off for that. I'm at peace in my body, mind, and soul. And we're off for that. Now, that's not actually, well, yeah, I guess that could be an intention. I'm at peace, body, mind, and soul. I am patient, see the truth, and induce humor as often as possible. And we're off for that. I and my partner feel safe and secure in our street, neighborhood, and city. And we're off for that. I think the whole world needs that one for sure. And I experience peace, growth, and positive resolution in every aspect of my life situation. We're off for that. Okay. And now, so that's the intention necessary to reestablish that positive entrainment and resonance with leaders, with our country, with world peace. We're now going to check on the positive entrainment resonance needed at the level of the chakras. The chakras, of course, are the energy centers of the body from the Indian energy system. And it's crown, brow, ether, air is the heart chakra, fire, and water is the abdomen, and the base of the spine is the earth chakra. So we need brow entrainment, no, air, fire, water, earth. We do need earth chakra entrainment and resonance. So what makes you feel insecure in this relationship? So we'll say that the relationship is the one between ourselves and our country. And it's just ringing in my head is what makes me insecure in my relationship is the erosion of personal freedoms, rights, and the shutting down of the free press. And we need to list any more. And I'll just say that this proxies everyone's notion of what makes you insecure with peace in your country. This will just proxy it. What makes me insecure in my relationship to my country is the erosion of personal rights and the shutting down of the free press. And we're umbilically on for that at a deep unconscious level. Okay. And the next question, how is our country or our country leader unpredictable in this relationship? Or how are we unpredictable in this relationship? So it's about us, the people, the country. So what comes to my mind is we don't know what our leader will do next. It's more it's as simple as that. So say we don't know what our leader will do next. And we're on for that uncertainty that makes us feel insecure. The positive earth chakra quality needed is 1, 2, 3, 4. Say this, there is enough predictability in this relationship for me to feel secure. And we're off for that. And there's a brainwave needed. There is. Beta alpha. It's an alpha brainwave at 9 cycles per second, and the part of the brain is this thalamus brain area. So say 9 cycles per second in my thalamus brain area. And that is off. But that's the brainwave needed to be able to really manifest this better entrainment resonance for world peace. There's a harmonic interval needed. It's a quality statement, and it's related to a sound. It's from this page, 16 to 20 to 25 to 30, 25, 26, 27, 28. Huh. Say, my ideas for peace move people to transform their lives. And we're off for that. My ideas, peace, move people to transform their lives. And we're off. And that, by the way, is a 28th harmonic, an interval of a minor seventh. For those of you musically inclined and know what that might have special meaning. And we need to look at the entrainment and resonant actions needed. We don't. There's something that could get us going in the right direction, but it's more for couples, I think. And now we need the sound. And for this, we need we need the interval needed for the sound that we're going to create. It's 1 through 5, 6, 7. It's a fifth interval. It's like, think of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. Da, 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 da. It's like a breakthrough. It's like, this is it. We reached the top of the mountain. So that's the kind of energy we need in terms of a sound. And it's this sound that helps us to harmonize these patterns. It can be as simple as that. So a fifth, we're going to create a fifth with 2 notes, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, the note of E, and 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's E and C, I guess it is. E and C. I'm just going to double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's E and C. I'm going to whip out my virtual piano here. And we're going to play these 2 notes together. You might feel it as something sort of slightly shifting. I don't have to play this note for very long, and you'll feel a kind of a shift occurring. I'm going to a place called virtualpiano.net. And let's see what we can do. And we need E and upper E and C. So stay tuned. I'm going to play these notes over and over. Just take in the frequency and allow it to create change in yourself. Take a breath, come into your heart center. Yeah, that appears to be complete. Just take a moment, let that settle in. Good, and take a deep integrating breath. It's good. And we need to look at the birth chart note significance of this sound. We don't. All right, then that is our entrainment resonance repatterning. We need something else from repatterning. We don't. Just put this away. We need another modality. We need to just check the statements. We do. So we'll go back and check the statements, see where our shifts are. Notice how you feel as we go through these statements a second time. We'll start with the world peace issues. Global peace is disturbed because of the violence of people going with not enough food, hunger in children, the division that's occurring in this country, poor relationships with other countries, unbelievably high levels of violence against women and non-conforming genders in South Africa, the declining sense for the truth and responsibility from those in power. And we're now cleared for that. And remember, it's not necessarily the truth, but our energy is not going there anymore. And what we resonate, if we don't resonate with this, chances are we're not going to experience much of this in the future. Next statement, I feel energetically disconnected from my country. And we're off for that. Lovely. I am resentful that leaders are leading by putting their own personal interests ahead of the country or the people. And we're cleared for that resentment. Say, I write to my, here's the action we need. I write to my political representative where possible with my concerns for the current political situation and ask for their support to make positive change. And we're on for that. You know, lots of times politicians are working in a vacuum. They have no idea where you stand on an issue and they're going on their own best guess. And really just to let them know how you see their behavior and their voting, etc., I think really makes a big difference on their behavior because they are there actually for you. Now say, I'm committed to my life-enhancing choices. We're on for that. Say, and the masculine quality we need, I love serving and protecting my country. We're on for that. Feminine quality needed, I accept the leaders of my country as they are. We're on for that kind of acceptance. And I'm just going to make a note, it's a feminine quality. And now our world peace intentions. We address inadequate nutrition in children around the world. We're on for that. We respect and honor the divine feminine and live by principles of love, respect, cooperation in a balanced and peaceful society. And we're on for that. Our leaders and countries, including my own, put their people's interests first before their own personal interests. And we're on for that. And we support the world in becoming considerate of each other's way of going about things and enjoy learning from each other. This and so much more. We are on for that. We support South African citizens to deal with their frustration and anger in non-violent ways. We are on for that. And I find peace within myself and radiate it with love on those in need around me. And we're on for that. You know, I always say you can see many examples. If you go out in your neighborhood, you're out and about, you can see where people are in need of love and attention. And even if you don't have to stop or talk to them, you can send them your heart's love and wish them a really good day. You're probably the only person in their life who has done that in a very long time. And it makes a difference. Personal intentions. I find ways to give back to those in search of meaningful life and significance. And we're on for that. I spend my time joyfully in empowering women and students. We're on for that. Yeah, I am at peace in my body, mind, and soul. And we're on for that. I am patient, see the truth, and induce humor as often as possible. And we're on for that. I and my neighbor feel safe and secure on our street, in our street, neighborhood, and city. On for that. Yeah, on. And I experience peace, growth, and positive resolution in every aspect of my life situation. On for that. What makes me insecure in my relationship is the erosion of personal rights and the shutting down of the free press. And we're now cleared, actually cleared on an umbilical level for that. So that's off. And next, say, we don't know what our leader will do next. We're cleared for that lack of certainty. And there's enough predictability in this relationship for me to feel secure. And we're on for that. And almost done, 9 cycles per second in the thalamus brain area. We're done there. We're on. And lastly, say my ideas for peace move people to transform their lives. And we're on for that. So all the statements are cleared, and we need a positive action for members of this repatterning to do. We don't. This session is complete, and we are now resonating with having peace in our hearts and peace to radiate out there for peace in the world. Well, I hope you enjoyed this session and that you personally felt the shift. I'm feeling actually a little lighter. I'm surprised. I shouldn't be, but I am. I don't know. I have a smile I can't seem to wipe off my face. So go back out there, live life. That's how I like to end our sessions. You can often ask, what happens after a session, but just notice the good in the world as you go forward from this session. Notice what's working well and acknowledge the places where you see peace. The more you recognize, the more you pay attention to those things, the more peace you will experience in your life. And I send you love and blessings that your own personal intentions now manifest in a big way as well. Well, if you have any questions, go visit me over at www.worldpeacehologram.com. You'll find my name there on the sidebar, Carolyn Winter, and leave me your comments to reply to any of the peace sessions, and I certainly will get back to you. Love to hear from you. If you are wanting sessions, there's all of our practitioners are available for sessions, myself included. Follow any of those links and click through, and you'll find somebody that can do a session for you to create coherence in your life. Well, this is Carolyn Winter for World Peace Hologram. May peace be with you. Bye for now.